This is now kind of going against what we've previously known. And I'll explain it here in just a minute. Let's just take a look at this article, the title of this article really quick. Okay? Accused monster, okay, BK, allegedly repeatedly messaged one of the victims on the IG. It goes down in the DMs. Remember that song? Anybody? It goes down in the DMs. He slid in someone's DMs, y'all. He slid in it. He didn't slide. He didn't slid. He slid into them DMs. BK did. Now, trust me, we're going to get into this article. We're going to do this right now. But I find this very, very interesting. Again, he slided into them DMs saying, "What up, though?" Yet, he didn't do it? Let's get into this article, shall we? Yes, high blown. Yes, high blown. Yes, this is very interesting. Oh, yes. Okay. So, let's get into this article, shall we? And oh my Lord, the trolls are real. They are out here, y'all. They are definitely out here. That's hilarious. Okay, let's get into this because there's always going to be somebody. There's always going to be somebody. Let me get this mouse. Here we go. All right. And apparently this is from a source. Okay. So he slid into somebody's DMs, one of the victim's DMs, multiple times. So, and it says here, he was persistent. An investigative source tells People. An investigative source on the case tells People magazine. People magazine is the original article that all these other articles are hopping off of, just so you know. Okay. And real quick, Lisa, thank you so much for the $10 super sticker. I do appreciate that. Thank you so very much. All right. And yes, Jen, people be interesting out here in these streets. Okay. I'm just going to keep it real. So let's get into it. 2 weeks before the unalivings of the 4 Idaho students last November, the man now accused of unaliving them sent a series of messages to one of the victims on Instagram, on the IG. An investigator familiar with the case tells People. In late October, an account that authorities believe belonged to Bryan Kohberger sent a greeting to one of the female victims, the source says. When he didn't get a reply, he sent several more messages to her. They literally said he slid into one of the girl's DMs several times, but she didn't respond, the source tells People. Basically, it was just him saying, "Hey, how are you?" But he did it again and again. Them birthing hips. I wonder if he said something about birthing hips too. Just damn birthing hips. Maybe not. Now, of course, Madison, Kaylee, Xana, Ethan, we already know about this tragedy and what's going on. And we see the dude, splat out, right there. Okay? Full on creepazoid. Okay? Oh, Scott Briggs. Indeed. He's screwed. He is screwed. If they're able to use this, and if this is entirely 110% true, we're going to go back up to the title here, but if this isn't 110% entirely true, he is screwed. He slid into someone's DMs, and we don't even know who that person is yet. Now, I know people are already going to be aiming for Kaylee. Everyone's already going to be going towards that. All right? Clearly. But you never know. Okay? But let's continue on. There's more. Of course, then he was sliding into their DMs or into one of the girls' DMs saying, "Sup, doe." See, like, it's so frustrating. I'll get into it in a little bit. I'm sorry. But like, so he was sliding into their DMs saying "sup, doe" to one of them, just one of them, okay, from what they've gathered so far. The person ignored them or didn't, or simply did not see the DMs. Okay? Or simply did not see the DMs. Okay? More than a month later, authorities arrested BK, 28-year-old graduate student and teaching assistant at Washington State University. He was charged, obviously, for 4 counts of M and 1 count felony burglary. We already know about all this stuff, okay? But from what we know, with all the stuff that we have, all the information, the cell phone pings, the DNA on the knife sheath, etc. To me, the cell phone pings, the knife sheath, all that stuff. Yes, I understand that that's circumstantial evidence and it doesn't automatically put him in the place at the scene of the crime. I get it. But at the same time, there are so many other women that matriculate at both of those universities. And he decides to DM one of the 4 that has been that lost their life. Remember, car scene, driving around the place before the tragedy went down, the security cam footage, the cell phone ping, him conveniently turning off his cell phone right before he left, then turning it on conveniently afterwards. And let's not forget the knife sheath that was found inside the house. Now, I understand, doesn't put him in the place of said crime, but in doing said crime, but still, now you got some more proof. Again, if this is 110% true, you have now more proof showing that he was out here trying to say "what up, doe" to one of the victims. So it's not like he didn't know who they were. Now, I just want to show this really, really quick because I like to show receipts. Remember this from like last week? I mean, shoot, we've done so many stories about this dude. It feels like it was yesterday that I talked about this, but let's keep it real, okay? Let's keep it straight funkies, okay? Attorney says Idaho monster victims didn't know suspect BK. So allegedly there were not only just one attorney, another attorney. There was 2 attorneys allegedly from 2 different families that were sitting there saying, yeah, the victims didn't know BK and so on and so forth. And then we're going, oh, wait, that totally goes against the information we heard before, especially in the information that we knew about Stephen Gonsalves, basically saying, no, there's a connection here. Once they arrested BK, he literally said, there's a connection. I can't get into it right now, but there is a connection. Then a few days later, this article comes out, and we're sitting there going, wait, so is Steven just talking out his ass? Is he just talking ish? Because this doesn't make any sense. Now the attorneys are saying they don't know him, but where is my mouse? There it is. But just because Kaylee may not have known, or any of the girls may not have known Bryan Kohberger, he sure as hell knew exactly who they were, according to DMs, saying, hey, how are you? And he kept saying that over and over and over again. Let's not forget, IG is funny, right? Because if you are not friends with that person and you slide into their DMs, right? Slide. Yes, I said slide, not slide. Slide into their DMs. They may not see it. In fact, sometimes they do see it, but you don't know if they actually read it or not. So it just stays unread. Right? So what are the chances of one of the girls, because let's be real, these are girls. These are girls. Of course, there's dudes out here, unless they're sitting here saying, I'm taken, I'm in love, or I'm married, or something of that sort. A lot of times, dudes are sliding in the DMs. Again, it all goes down in the DMs nowadays. You don't you don't think that maybe he said sup doe multiple times and it just kept getting buried underneath other guys who are probably doing sup doe. I'm a frat boy from across the way. What's up? You never know. You just never know. So, just because he DM'd them does not mean that they even saw those DMs, baby. Because they may have been obviously, they were popular. Think about the amount of DMs that they got. Their house was an open door policy. That's what I like to call it. Everybody and their mama knew that that was either the place to go get messed up or a sanctuary whenever cops were out trying to catch kids from underage drinking. Imagine how many people slid in their DMs, not in some romantic way, just to try to say, hey. That stuff could get buried in there. It could very well get buried. Something to think about. But this also does say, go back up to that to the title real quick. Where's my mouse? There it is. This also does show us that Bryan's screwed if they're able to use this in court. If they're able to use and show proof that there was some sort of connection, that this was that was a weak ass attempt at trying to try to make a connection, make a love connection, right? Something to think about. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on this new information about this DM that just this story about these DMs that just recently came out.
I mean, I think it's very damning to Bryan. There's been people have been trying to find a connection between Bryan Kohberger and these girls, and there's been the speculation that this was a targeted event since early on in the beginning of this case. They stated they weren't aware if it was the persons in the house or the house that was targeted, but this would indicate and also kind of show that he was at least aware of who these girls were, and at the very least following them on their social medias. And given his studies in criminology and his PhD internship that he was going through or about to go through with Washington, with the Pullman Police Department, leads me to believe that there's probably more evidence of stalking going on back at his apartment complex.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing, though. That's the main question I have too, is aside from these DMs, what other pieces of damning information do they have that they're going to be bringing into this whole thing, right? I mean, it's that's the thing that's really kind of blowing my mind. As much as we hear one thing and then we hear, it's been weird, actually. It's been hot and cold a lot. We hear some information, then we go, okay, so there's a connection, right? And then attorneys will go, oh, no, there's no connection whatsoever. And then we find out more. This is even just a sliver of information, right? This is a sliver, but it's huge. It's a huge chunk that could really expose Bryan in a very, very bad way.
Yeah, no, I agree. And, I think early on that the police department were aware of Bryan Kohberger as a possible suspect. Main reason I say that is if you look at page 15 of the probable cause affidavit, it references that Bryan's phone pinged in Moscow. However, the investigators don't believe that he was there. I'm not entirely certain how they would not have known he was not there unless they were watching him. And if they were watching him, it may have been because they found this evidence early on in this investigation and that they were looking in at him. At least that's what it tells me.
Absolutely. And of course, to me, I get it. In this day and age, this is how guys try to say what's up to girls. Same thing with girls trying to holler at dudes. Sometimes it's not Tinder. Sometimes it's not these dating apps. Sometimes you're using the social media apps like Facebook, Instagram, so on and so forth, to try to at least shoot your shot. But given the fact that this particular victim did not respond, and he kept repeatedly hitting her up, says something as well to me. And it shows more that why there is a connection between, I would say, let's just use Kaylee, for example, for now, why there was a connection between Kohberger and these students.
Pascal, you are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild.